Multiverse is based on chaos theory, chaos magic, and that all potentialities are actualities. So, is this actually possible? Is this a worldview, chaos magic, chaos theory, multiverse theory? Can this actually be a possible explanation, a metaphysic for how the world works? And we're going to see that, in fact, no, it is contradictory nonsense.
Magician should seek to work on the simpler schemes first, and to immerse himself in the belief structures of magic. And the really great acts of power will gradually begin to manifest in his work. At any time in life, but most commonly in late youth, when we have the vague intuition that there is something profoundly bizarre and inconsistent about life, the universe, and everything, there may suddenly be a horrifying or ecstatic certainty that one's own self is illusory, and that reality is also an illusion.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Now we got some problems here. All right. Self is illusory. Let's write that down. I'm afraid that our cum magus is not going to do very well in this philosophical critique. Now, for you budding preceptors out there, can you begin to see how we might critique this? Wait a minute. You just told me the self is illusory. Now you just said reality is illusory. This might be a little bit of a philosophical problem for your worldview when you start telling me about what reality is.
One's carefully.
By the way, didn't I come to hear your chaos magic philosophy through reality? Uh-oh. Andale, andale, mama. Uh-oh. Because you just said it's illusory. So essentially you're saying that your philosophy and your arguments are illusory also. Uh-oh.
Suspended identity seems to be a pointless pretense and an empty shell. The world becomes a cacophony of meaningless sensations. Most people will reject this initiation and manage.
Okay, so the world is illusory. The self is illusory. It's, what do you say, meaningless sensations? Uh-oh. But I learned about your book and your philosophy through the sensations coming at me right now from the screen. That means your arguments are meaningless sensations. Uh-oh. From now on, and if there's ever another debate, I'm just going to do the Nelly reply. Uh-oh.
Fill their lives
every time there's a dumb argument, I'm going to go, uh-oh.
It is with sufficient concerns until perhaps an awareness of mortality reminds them of it again.
Maybe people are just falling for this because it's just a British voice. I mean, I think that, have you noticed how they put all these British TV people on American TV now? And I think they think that everybody in America is just so dumb that they'll default to whatever these people are saying because he's got a British voice, he must be smart. Why, he's saying it in them these and thous British kings English. He's British, it sounds smart, it must be true. No, he's saying gibberish nonsense and lying to you, and it's a psyop because he has a British voice as if he's smart and sophisticated. I mean, listen to what this guy's saying. It's pure contradiction gibberish. But he's got a British voice. Ritual magic, you see. People would like to say that the great magicians, the wizards of yesteryear, that we are all liars and scammers. I tell you, no. The magic of the anus, of the buttocks, the butt stuff is real. Allow me to show you. Come to my chamber. Come to my inner sanctum. Right? It's like, these people are just losers, dude. That's it. Here's a theory. What are these people? Are these just losers trying to bullshit their way into you thinking that they're smart and deep? And it doesn't even pass the test. It doesn't even pass the Funko Pop smell test of basic coherency. I mean, this dude's already saying the self and reality are illusions. Okay, but that means Peter Carroll is an illusion. That means that your book is an illusion. And then I'm not a person who can learn from your book and your message here. I mean, it's just so stupid.
Those who do drink the poison must seek stronger medicine or become sick or mad. Rational materialism is the least powerful of the antidotes. Little more than an assertion.
So there's one at least halfway true point, right? So he's going to say that people are disillusioned with rationalistic materialism. Well, that's true. That's true. However, that being false does not mean that I should opt for your magical chaos theory, which is going to be just as dumb as that.
Acceptance of the emptiness of self and the unreality of phenomena as symptoms.
That is not talking about, by the way, transcendental arguments. Totally different thing. Transcendentalism, like Thoreau, and that's not what that's what he's talking about. That's not what we do.
About temporary.
Everybody gets fooled with these words. Okay, words mean different things in different contexts. People don't assume that because you see a word here, it always means the same thing, and every time you read it, it doesn't. People think that the transcendental argument for God is from Kant. No, it's not. We're not Kantians. I mean, accepting Kant's philosophy would be completely destructive to the whole point of the transcendental argument. Transcendental arguments have a life outside of Kant. Kant did transcendental arguments. That'd be like saying because David Hume used logical arguments, logic comes from David Hume. I mean, it's just so stupid.
Estrangement from some greater fullness and reality, be it nirvana, God, or enlightenment. Those with a particularly deep terror of extinction and nothingness become the most passionately religious and mystical.
Oh, you see, it's, the serpent's bite drives you mad, and we find freedom there, the liberation. We laugh.
Right. So, in other words, he's advocating a kind of madness. He's saying that if you want to take the path of the magician, you need to sort of like take the left-hand path of madness and the demonic. Oh, okay. So I need to be possessed and go nuts to obtain power. Kind of sounds like a lie from the devil. I mean, I don't know about you, but like you're telling me that I need to give you my butt for you to do butt stuff, and that's the only way that I'm going to be initiated into understanding them. It sounds like to me like this is like a lame pickup line, bro. I'm not buying it. Sorry, but he actually goes into this in this book, right? He says that, for example, destroying the sacred. You will find that energy is liberated when an individual breaks through the rules of conditioning. He's talking about moral rules that you were raised with, 10 Commandments, whatever. Oh, that's just a trap to keep you down, dude. Don't you realize that if you just ate people and drank blood and did a lot of butt stuff, like you would be free, dude, right? But he goes further and says that actually destroying the sacred is an act of blasphemy, and this gives you energy. So he's saying that there's an energizing effect that comes with engaging in violations of the divine law. Now, wait a minute, though. But I thought that reality is an illusion. So how is it that there's some regular principle that I'm going to gain energy and power from violating moral laws? I thought everything's an illusion. So how do you get this principle that you gain power from? It doesn't make any sense, right? It's contradictory. Do something, for example, he says, that you would feel revolted by. I mean, this just sounds like a cum mage trying, right? Like a cum magus trying to seduce the winch mage. You see, it's like a bad version of spitting game. You know that if you just let me grab your booty, you get power from that. Who would buy that, right? That's all he's doing, really. You are free to do anything, do whatever, no matter how extreme. However, do not restrict another person's freedom. Well, I mean, so non-aggression principle, bro. Like, why am I supposed to accept the non-aggression principle? And by the way, he just told you to accept the non-aggression principle, which is a restricting of your freedom. So he's violating the very thing that he says not to do. And on what basis am I supposed to assume that the NAP is a universal rule or principle? By the way, your whole philosophy is chaos. There are no universal rules or principles. The idea that there is a universal principle, that there's no universal principles, is a contradiction. Every element of this is just stupid. Imagine falling for this. Then he goes on to say, here are some actions that you can do to give you magic power. Heresy. Go out and preach and teach nonsensical, crazy, extreme views. Heresy. go against the mainstream opinion. Okay, but what if there's a mainstream opinion about something that's actually true, right? Like, why would I go against that? Well, it'll empower you with the dark side. If you only knew the power of the creep side, right? If you only knew the power of the coom side of the force. Then he goes on to say, engage in religious iconoclasm. That's weird. Then he goes on to say, you can do things with your body. Let's see what this is. This shit's crazy, dude. Let's see what he says. There is a thing more trustworthy than all of the sages, and that which contains more wisdom than any great library. Your own body. Uh-oh. It asks you for food, warmth, for sex, and for transcendence. Transcendence is the urge to become one with something greater than you, a variously satisfied desire in love, satisfied in love, humanitarianism, arts, science, or the magical quest for truth. To satisfy these needs, it is liberating for you. For example, power, authority, excessive wealth, and so forth are the sensory experiences that are aberrations of these things. Sidestepping conventionality leaves you with a mass of prejudices and idiosyncrasies. So now he's talking about self-destruction. Let's see what he says. He calls this anathematism. Anathemism. Anathemism is a technique that will directly practice directly on yourself. Eat everything that is loathsome to you. Seek a union and conversation with what you hate and reject. Scheme is against every one of your sacred principles. So basically do the opposite of what is good. That's it. And what you like and so forth. And he says that in doing this, you will kind of achieve some sort of mountaintop insight that you would never have gotten before. That's just silly. But do you see the madness of this, right? Oh, you don't like eating feces? Haha. You're not really initiated. You're not really enlightened. Haha. I've eaten the crap all day. I am enlightened. You're insane. And how obviously demonic is that?
Dating and depressive maladies with no obvious cause were recognized as a shaman sickness in the old hunter-gatherer.
Now, again, you're going to say, but what does this have to do with Doctor Strange? Because the philosophy and the worldview of Doctor Strange, the message given, is the message of chaos magic, which is the same thing as the message of postmodernism, which is that there is no truth, there is no reality. It's all a social construct, and it's all constructed by power relations of oppressed and oppressor. That's it. That's the whole thing. And all of modern leftism today is this. It is this postmodern chaos magic. And that's why for them, they don't care about all the logic and the arguments and the truths that you bring to them and you want to get the word out. They don't care about any of that, dude. Postmodernism does not care about any of this. They're never going to listen to any of your arguments because it is fundamentally a power dynamic like a magical worldview. Okay. Now, not every postmodernist crazy person out there, right? Not every social justice warrior believes in magic and witchcraft, although many of them do now. Many of them don't believe in that. But what they implicitly and inherently do believe in is the philosophy of chaos magic, which is essentially nothing to do with truth. It is all power relations. It is all oppressor-oppressed narratives. And that's what underlies all of today's discourse. And nobody ever talks about this, by the way. Now, Jordan Peterson comes close, and I will give him credit for when he critiques postmodernism, this is his point, and he's right about that. And it is a philosophy of magic because, again, Terence McKenna said the postmodernists are using magical thinking and they don't even know it. So they've adopted an occult worldview and they don't even know it.